The SNP's tactic of putting a second referendum at the heart of its campaign has been called into question by a senior party figure as support for independence fell to its lowest poll rating in 5 years. Brexit has also been cited as a reason for the fall in support by a top academic, who suggested some voters may see the chaos over leaving the EU as an indication of how difficult breaking away from the Union could be. The SNP, which still has a high popularity rating among voters, is predicted to win the majority of Scottish seats in Thursday's general election, but one senior party source said their strategy has probably meant the Tories are going to do better than we hoped. A YouGov poll of 1,002 Scots published yesterday showed that support for leaving the Union was 44%, 1 percentage point lower than that achieved during the 2014 referendum. The previous poll by the same firm in September showed 49% of respondents said they would vote in favour of independence while 51% would vote against. A senior SNP source told the Herald on Sunday the lack of dynamism in the party's campaign messaging may have cost them support for leaving the Union. He said, "I think the campaign hasn't quite understood what the central message is: stop Brexit in some places, people's vote in others, stop Boris, and then INDIAF in others. I think the lack of a coherent message, and the leadership being too risk-averse, has probably meant the Tories are going to do better than we hoped." Nicola Sturgeon has not addressed the poll results directly but yesterday joined Westminster candidate Fergus Much in Aberdeen where she urged voters to unite around the SNP to stop Boris Johnson re-entering number 10, and to prevent Brexit. One academic said the SNP had no choice but to campaign for a second referendum, and the decline in support was likely to be the Brexit effect rather than a drop in popularity for the SNP itself. Rob Johns, professor of politics at the University of Essex, said, "The SNP don't have that much choice on what they focus on. They have an enthusiastic base, part of which is much more enthusiastic than they perceive the leadership to be. If the leadership downplayed independence, they would have a lot of people asking them what the hell?" Effectively. The SNP tends to do best when voters think there isn't going to be a majority, so they think that a lot of SNP MPs could really make a difference for Scotland. Realistically, when you look at what voters believe this election is going to be, most of them think it will be a majority Tory government which will do what it wants. As a result of that perception, the SNP doesn't really have that angle to go at, so it kind of had to campaign for independence. As to what effect it's had, firstly, it is only one poll. Secondly, this is the biggie. For more on this story, visit the news article link.